Welcome back, everyone, to Yahoo Finance Live. Tesla shares have taken a beating this year, much like the rest of the tech sector. But the stock is still up over 150% in the last 2 years. And back in 2020, the stock got added to the S&P 500 when it reached a market cap of over $500 billion. That market cap now sits at over $700 billion. So you really can't argue that the company's had success here, but I guess you can argue its importance here. So that argument is where we find Sozzi's take today. Sozzi, what should we know?
Yeah, in my free time, Brad, I've been reflecting a little bit about how important Tesla is to the stock market. And, I reflected a little bit back to a conversation I had with a colleague who I'm calling Pal, and I wrote about Pal in the Morning Brief newsletter. I encourage everyone to smash down the subscribe button on our newsletter. You want it in your box. But it was interesting earlier in the week, Tesla came out and missed its delivery numbers and the broader market declined. And that took me back to the conversation I had with Pal, who made the argument or the assertion that Tesla is the most important stock in the stock market, more important than storied companies like a Kellogg, a General Motors, and a Ford, real companies that touch all of our lives in a lot more ways than a company selling electric cars. So I broke this down. I think this was Pal's argument, if my interpretation was correct. And you can see Pal is a mysterious person there with a question mark in that black side of the box. It's Tesla. Simple, but it's Tesla. We're always talking about Tesla, hence it's probably important. It's Elon Musk. Same deal with Tesla. We're talking about Elon Musk every single day. World's richest person. Has to be important. Number three, lots of investors, especially retail investors, follow Tesla and Elon Musk. As we have learned the past 2 years of the market, retail investors, the next generation of investors has been created. Next, stock is always super volatile. Interesting thing there. Volatile stock is often pretty important. And then lastly, company is global and sells very in-demand products. Of course, China, a key market for Tesla, especially. It's also a market very much in focus with COVID restrictions. But again, I just don't agree with Pal's assertions here. Here are a couple of my quick arguments on the other side. It's by far not the largest tech company in the world. I still think, and Pal didn't say this, this is how I just interpreted our real-time conversation. Apple is way, way more important than Tesla. So there you go. And then Tesla, of course, just sells EVs, does not sell cereal to middle-income consumers, mostly selling electric vehicles to the affluent. And then lastly, it's not a super global company. I know Tesla is a budding player in Europe. It's a key player in China, but still, it doesn't have that same global reach as a Ford, a General Motors, or I would even argue as a Kellogg. Now, here's my take. We'll serve it up here. I will meet Pal in the middle. There you can see me in a Tesla here. Tesla is, in fact, a good barometer on the economy, of course, and stock prices, just given that retail interest in the name. But it is not the most important company. Maybe I'm old school. Maybe that is me being a little boomerish. I'm still, Brad, looking at earnings results from a Kellogg, a General Motors, and Ford is more important as to what is really happening in the real economy and then what that may or may not mean to the broader stock market. But I go into more of this in the Morning Brief newsletter. It's on our homepage. Check it out.
Okay, so I'm getting a little bit of a word in from Pal right now because we've got that live action, and it sounds like in addendum they would like to add that Apple is more. They would like to concede that Apple is more important than Tesla, or at least add to their statement that we put on screen there with the mystery Pal in silhouette.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm glad they clarified that statement, Brad. But I don't think that is truly what Pal meant to say over this discussion during Happy Hour. But nonetheless, again, I met them in the middle. That's what good leaders do, Brad. They compromise when they get all the facts and they think about it even more. I'll meet Pal in the middle. Of course, Tesla's important. Just I think Kellogg's more important.
Did we disclose that this was a happy hour conversation within the Morning Brief?
Well, I just did real time.
Done deal.
We'll leave Pal's name. Pal will, in fact, be a recurring character in the Morning Brief newsletter. Don't know when Pal will pop back up, but I will dig out Pal again very soon.
Pal's got takes, that's for sure.